Look at your left wrist. No, not your watch. Look closely at the skin right below your pulse. Do you see that faint, glowing silver barcode pulsing under your veins? Watch it. See how it slowly fades, sinking deeper into your flesh until it looks like nothing more than an old, dull gray scar? That is your new birth certificate. Because according to every government database, medical record, and obituary on this planet, you died in a horrific car crash exactly 3 hours ago. Your car flipped 4 times on Interstate 95. The engine block crushed the driver's seat. The paramedics pronounced you dead at the scene. Your family is being notified right now. So, welcome to the afterlife. Or as we like to call it, Tuesday. Go ahead, try to stand up. You can't, can you? Don't panic. The magnetic locks holding your ankles to that cold steel chair won't release until I swipe my hand over this sensor. There. Hear that click? Now you can move. Take a deep breath. Adjust to the light. I know your head feels like it's splitting open, and the smell of ozone in this windowless room isn't helping. But we don't have time for a recovery period. If we wanted you dead, we would have left your body in that burning wreckage. We went to extreme lengths to pull you out, wipe the security cameras, and replace your body with a synthetic clone because you did something completely impossible during that crash. You didn't just survive. You perceived a temporal skip. When that semi-truck blew its tire and veered into your lane, you didn't swerve out of reflex. Our monitors showed your brain activity spiked 5 seconds before the tire even popped. You reacted to an event that hadn't happened yet. You saw a glitch in the timeline, and your mind adapted to it. That makes you incredibly rare and incredibly useful. Slide closer to the table. Look at this tablet screen I'm pushing toward you. It's a live satellite feed of downtown Manhattan right now. Looks normal, right? People rushing to work, yellow cabs honking, rain slicking the pavement. But look closer. Watch that pedestrian in the blue jacket on the corner of 5th Avenue. See how for a fraction of a millisecond, his body glitters, and suddenly he's standing 3 feet to the left? Watch that red sedan. It just instantly shifted backwards a few inches without its wheels turning. The average human mind is programmed to ignore these things. The brain literally filters them out to preserve its own sanity. The public thinks the world is held together by concrete laws of physics, political treaties, and gravity. It's not. It's held together by duct tape, prayer, and a massive, crumbling cosmic code. Reality is an old, overlapping system running on an engine that is slowly wearing out. And occasionally, it glitches. We don't hunt aliens. We don't fight terrorists or dismantle rogue states. The CIA has no idea this room exists. MI6 thinks we are a ghost story whispered by dying operatives in dark hallways. We have no name, no official budget, and no physical address. We are the agency that doesn't exist. Our entire purpose is to hunt the anomalies, the terrifying things that slip through the cracks of human logic. Last month, we had to quarantine a residential door in London because every time someone opened it, it led directly into a scorching, silent desert in Arizona. 2 weeks ago, we detained a man in Tokyo who speaks a dialect of English that won't be linguistically invented for another 300 years. If these anomalies are left unchecked, they expand. They bleed into the collective consciousness, and the fabric of our stable reality begins to unravel like a loose thread on a sweater. If you step out of this room and get erased from existence tomorrow, no one will mourn you. The universe literally won't remember to miss you because your historical footprint has already been bleached. Now, look at this matte black metallic briefcase I'm placing on the table. Listen to the latches pop. Inside, you'll find 3 items. First, a sleek, nearly invisible earpiece that molds directly to your ear canal. Put it in. Second, this heavy, dark gray jacket. It's lined with a localized gravity dampener to keep you anchored when space-time gets unstable. Put it on. And finally, look at this weapon. It looks like it's made entirely of solid, frosted glass. There is no trigger, no ammo clip, and no barrel. It's a localized paradox drive. It doesn't fire bullets. It fires a concentrated mathematical correction. When you aim it at a glitch, it forces the conflicting timelines to collapse back into order. Pick it up. Get used to the weight. Your first shift just started. Can you hear my voice clearly through the earpiece now? Good. The static will get worse the closer you get to the objective, so listen carefully. You're sitting in the back of an unmarked SUV right now. Look out the tinted windows. The rain is pouring down hard, blurring the streetlights of Sector 4. The man driving you is wearing a faceless ballistic mask. Don't try to talk to him. He doesn't have a tongue. He's just here to drop you off at the gates of hell. We've arrived. Look out to your right. See that concrete subway entrance glowing faintly under the broken, flickering neon sign? Open the door and step out into the storm. Let the rain hit your face. Feel how real it is, because where you're going, reality is a luxury. Walk down those wet, crumbling concrete stairs into the subway station. As you descend, notice how the sounds of the city traffic and the heavy rain slowly fade away into an absolute, unnatural silence. The air down here is freezing. It smells like rot, ozone, and old iron. Look at the ground. The dust on these tiled floors is inches thick. It hasn't been disturbed in decades. That's because Subway Line 7 was completely decommissioned, boarded up, and abandoned in the winter of 1994 after a mysterious structural collapse. Yet, exactly 22 minutes ago, our deep grid sensors picked up a massive, moving kinetic signature traveling at 40 miles per hour along these exact tracks. A train is coming, Agent. But it's a train that shouldn't exist. Your objective is deceptively simple. Board the train when it rolls up to the platform. You need to walk through the cars and locate the anchor. The anchor is the specific object or person that is generating this temporal bleed and keeping this dead memory alive. Once you find it, point the glass pistol at it and activate the drive. But I must give you one absolute, non-negotiable warning. Do not, under any circumstances, look the passengers in the eyes. They aren't human anymore. They are echoes, hollow shells of a timeline that died a long time ago. If you look into their eyes, you allow them to perceive you. And if they perceive you, they will try to pull you into their void. Hear that? In the deep darkness of the tunnel, a low, metallic screech is echoing. The tracks are vibrating. A gust of freezing, foul-smelling wind just blew out of the tunnel, kicking up clouds of decades-old dust around you. Look down the tracks. A vintage, rust-covered 1990 subway train is rolling out of the darkness. It's moving slowly, grinding to a halt right in front of the platform. Look at the windows. They are completely frosted over from the inside, glowing with a faint, sickly, neon blue light that doesn't cast any shadows. The rusty metal doors are sliding open with a deafening, scraping groan. Take a deep breath. Step across the gap and walk inside the train car. Look around you. The interior is a perfect time capsule from 1994. The old, faded plastic seats, the scratched glass windows, the torn advertisements for movies and brands that haven't existed in 30 years. But look at the passengers. The train is packed. There are dozens of them, sitting in neat rows or standing while holding onto the overhead metal rails. But none of them are moving. They are completely, utterly frozen in time, like wax figures in a museum. A woman is frozen mid-laugh, her mouth wide open but no sound coming out. A businessman is frozen mid-stride, balancing perfectly on one foot without tipping over. Walk slowly down the center aisle. Watch your step. Look at the newspaper the teenager on your left is holding. Read the headline printed in bold black ink. World War III enters third year. Washington, Indiana ruins. Take a second to let that sink in. That event never happened in your history. This train didn't just travel forward from 1994. It bled through from a completely different, darker reality that collapsed into itself. You are walking through the ghost of a world that died before it was even born. Keep moving toward the front cars. Don't look at their faces. Keep your eyes on the floor or the walls. Suddenly, the audio in your earpiece begins to crackle violently. High-pitched static screams into your ear. Can you still hear me, Agent? The localized paradox readings aren't just spiking anymore. They are completely breaking our scales. The quantum pressure inside that train is reaching a critical mass. Whatever or whoever is serving as the anchor, it has realized there is a foreign entity on board. It knows you're there. It knows you don't belong to this nightmare. You need to run to the front car right now. Before you can even take a step, the train jerks violently forward, throwing you off balance. The faint blue lights instantly snap off, plunging the entire car into a pitch-black, suffocating darkness. You can't see your own hand in front of your face. The only sound is the frantic pounding of your own heart. Hold your breath. Wait for it. A sharp click echoes, and the blue emergency lights flicker back on. But something has changed. The silence is gone. Look around you. Every single frozen passenger in the car has snapped their necks around in a brutal, synchronized motion. Their bodies are still rigid, but their heads are completely turned toward you. They are all staring directly into your eyes. Look at their faces. Their eyes aren't human. They are completely solid black. No pupils, no irises, just hollow pools of liquid darkness that is slowly dripping down their pale cheeks like ink. They open their mouths in perfect unison. Can you hear that sound? It's not a human scream. It's a deafening, metallic shriek that sounds like tearing steel and grinding gears, vibrating straight through the floorboards and into your skull. They are all standing up from their seats, their limbs snapping into motion, reaching out for you. Get out of there. Break the line of sight. The anchor isn't an object, agent. It's a... The earpiece explodes into pure white noise. Before you can raise the glass pistol, a cold, decaying hand violently grabs your left arm. The silver barcode beneath your skin flashes a brilliant, burning red, searing into your flesh with agonizing heat. The walls of the train begin to warp and melt, the blue light stretching into long, distorted lines. The world is glitching out, tearing apart at the seams, and you are falling into the dark. Breathe. Force the air back into your lungs. The falling sensation is gone, but your head is spinning violently. Open your eyes. Look around. You are still inside the train car, flat on your back against the cold, dirty floor. The deafening screeching has stopped. The black-eyed passengers are no longer lunging at you. In fact, they are back in their original positions, completely frozen, staring straight ahead as if nothing ever happened. But look at your left arm. The sleeve of your heavy gray jacket is scorched and smoking. Beneath the fabric, the silver barcode on your wrist is throbbing with a dull, angry purple light. The burn is real. The threat is real. Get up. Lean against the metal pole to steady your balance. Look out the frosted windows. There are no tunnel walls out there anymore. There is only a vast, infinite void of swirling gray mist and floating debris. Pieces of old brick walls, shattered clocks, and disconnected railway tracks drifting aimlessly through nothingness. This train isn't traveling on a track anymore. It's floating through a pocket of collapsed space-time. Suddenly, a violent burst of static erupts in your earpiece, making you flinch. A voice cuts through the noise, heavily distorted and faint, but it's definitely him. Agent, can you hear me? If you are receiving this transmission, it means you've crossed the event horizon of the anomaly. The quantum tether between this station and our reality has snapped. You are inside a localized compression zone. Listen to me very carefully. Your environment is no longer bound by Euclidean geometry. What you see is not what is actually there. Do not trust your senses. You need to reach the front car and neutralize that anchor before the compression zone collapses completely and compresses your atoms into a single point of infinite density. Look down the aisle toward the door leading to the next car. It's only 20 feet away. Start walking. Walk past the frozen passengers. Avoid looking at their faces, even though they are quiet now. Past the businessman. Past the woman mid-laugh. Push open the heavy metal door at the end of the car and step through into the next carriage. Stop. Look around you. Your heart skips a beat. This car is identical. It's completely identical to the one you just left. The same torn advertisements on the walls. The same old plastic seats. Look to your left. There is the exact same teenager holding the exact same newspaper with the headline about World War III. Look down at the floor near the entrance. There are the dark scuff marks from your own boots where you just stood up. You didn't move forward. You walked through the door and ended up exactly where you started. Vance's voice crackles through the earpiece again, urgent and tense. Agent, your vitals just spiked. What's happening? Are you moving? You're caught in a spatial loop, aren't you? The anchor is looping the architecture to protect itself. It's creating an infinite hallway. To break a spatial loop, you cannot use conventional logic. You have to introduce an external paradox to the loop's boundary. Use the drive in your hand. Do not aim it at a person. Aim it at the doorway you just walked through. Force the code to recalculate. Raise the solid glass pistol. It feels freezing cold against your palm now, vibrating in sync with the burning barcode on your wrist. Point it directly at the metal frame of the door behind you. There is no trigger to pull, so close your eyes and focus your intent on the weapon. A low, heavy bass hum vibrates through your entire body. The glass weapon lights up from the inside with a brilliant, blinding white core. A shock wave of pure, silent energy ripples out of the barrel, slamming into the doorway. The air around the frame twists and warps like hot asphalt on a summer day. The solid metal door literally tears open, revealing a completely different corridor beyond it. It worked. The loop is broken. Step through the ruined doorway immediately. As soon as your feet hit the floor of the next car, a terrifying sound echoes from behind you. A synchronized, wet, snapping sound. Turn your head slightly to look back. The loop might be broken, but you just woke up the system's defenses. Every single passenger in the car behind you has just snapped their heads around. But this time, they aren't staying in their seats. They are standing up, their joints popping loudly in the silence. They are moving toward you, but they aren't walking. Their bodies are glitching, teleporting forward 3 feet at a time, flickering in and out of existence like a bad digital video file. 1 millisecond they are at the back of the car. The next, they are halfway down the aisle, their solid black eyes locked entirely on you. Run. Do not look back. Just run. Push through the next door. This car is different. The 1994 aesthetic is decaying rapidly. The plastic seats are rotting away into rusted iron frames. The ceiling panels are missing, revealing dark wiring that rides like a nest of black snakes. The floorboards are translucent, and through them, you can see ancient, giant cogs and gears turning in the misty void below the train. The train is transforming, stripping away its human disguise, revealing the raw, mathematical engine underneath. A glitched passenger suddenly teleports directly in front of you, blocking the aisle. It's an old woman, her face warping violently between a human expression and a featureless gray mask. Her black ink tears are floating upward into the air due to the shifting gravity. She raises a hand, her fingers stretching into long, jagged shards of broken glass. Raise the pistol. Aim it straight at her chest. Focus. The white light flashes again. The shockwave hits her, and instead of bleeding or falling, her body instantly shatters into millions of glowing, green lines of code that dissolve into the air like digital smoke. She has been deleted from the sequence, but more of them are pouring through the doors behind you. They are crawling along the walls and the ceiling, their limbs bending in impossible, non-human angles, letting out that deafening, metallic screech that threatens to burst your eardrums. Keep moving forward. Shoot the floor in front of you if you have to, clearing the path as the geometry bends. The train tilts violently upward at a 45-degree angle. You are no longer running. You are climbing, pulling yourself up by the rusted remains of the passenger seats while the void screams outside the windows. The earpiece is buzzing so loudly it feels like a needle piercing your brain. Vance's voice is barely a whisper through the wall of white noise. Agent, you are close. The energy is centered right behind the conductor's cabin door. Whatever you find in there, do not hesitate. You have one shot. Collapse the core, or you become part of the... The signal cuts off completely. Dead silence fills your earpiece. You've made it to the very front of the train. You are standing on a narrow, shaking platform right before the heavy, reinforced steel door of the conductor's cabin. The air here is so thick with ozone it tastes like copper on your tongue. The silver barcode on your wrist is glowing so brightly it bleeds through the fabric of your jacket, pulsing in a frantic, panicked rhythm. This is it, the origin point of the glitch. The anchor is right behind this door. Reach out with your trembling hand. Place your palm against the cold steel of the cabin door. Take a deep breath. You are a dead man according to the world, an agent for an agency that doesn't exist, fighting a nightmare that shouldn't exist. Push the door open and step into the cabin. The room inside is surprisingly large, far larger than the front of any normal subway train. It is entirely silent. The walls are lined with old cathode ray tube monitors, all of them flashing a single line of glowing green text over and over again. System error. Source found. In the center of the cabin, sitting quietly in a high-backed leather chair facing away from you, is a single figure. They are wired directly into the train's main control panel, thick, pulsing black cables running from the dashboard directly into the back of their neck. They are wearing the exact same dark gray, gravity-dampened agency jacket that you are wearing. Raise your glass pistol, aiming it directly at the back of the figure's head. Your hand is shaking. As if sensing your presence, the leather chair slowly, smoothly rotates around to face you. Look at the person sitting in that chair. Look at their face. Look at the faint, scarred remains of a silver barcode right below the pulse on their left wrist. The conductor isn't an alien. It isn't a monster from 1994. The conductor, turning to look at you, has your exact face. It is you, an older, battle-scarred, exhausted version of yourself, staring back into your eyes with a hollow, tragic smile. Don't drop the weapon. Keep your hand steady, even though your fingers are trembling so violently against the frozen glass of the pistol. Stare into those eyes. They aren't solid black like the echoes outside the door. They are your eyes. The exact same shade, the exact same shape, but buried under decades of pure, unadulterated exhaustion. Look at the deep scars running down his jawline, the gray hairs at his temples, and the absolute lack of fear in his face as he looks straight down the barrel of your gun. He lets out a soft, dry laugh. It sounds exactly like your own laugh, only hollowed out by time. Go ahead, kid. Lower the weapon, or pull the trigger. It's not going to change the math. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. You're waiting for me to jump you. You're waiting for Vance to scream into your earpiece and tell you that I'm a shapeshifter, an anomaly playing a trick on your mind. But you already know the truth, don't you? You can feel it in your bones. Look at your left wrist. Feel how the barcode beneath your skin is throbbing in perfect, agonizing synchronization with the one on my wrist. We are tuned to the exact same frequency, because I am you, and you are me. He leans back into the leather chair, the thick black cables attached to the back of his neck stretching and groaning with the movement. Sparks fly from the dashboard as the train tilts again, but he doesn't even blink. You think this is your first day at the agency? You think Vance pulled you out of that car crash 3 hours ago because you're special? Look at the monitors on the wall. Look closely at the green text flashing across the screens. Those aren't system errors. Those are coordinates. Timelines. Iterations. This isn't your first day, kid. This is your 1,000th, 400th, and 22nd time standing in this cabin, pointing that exact same glass pistol at my head. Let that sink in. Feel the freezing air of the cabin turn into ice in your chest. The agency doesn't protect reality from anomalies, it runs on them. Do you really think a stable universe needs an agency that doesn't exist? Reality isn't breaking down on its own, it's being drained. Every time a major timeline threatens to collapse, Vance finds a version of us. A version with just enough temporal sensitivity to perceive the glitches. The car crash on Interstate 95 wasn't an accident. It was a harvesting operation. They engineer the crash, they pull you out, they erase your past, and they throw you into the meat grinder. They send you down into these dying sectors to act as a human grounding wire. An anchor. He reaches up with a trembling, scarred hand and touches one of the thick cables plugged into his neck. Liquid black ink, the same substance dripping from the eyes of the passengers, is pulsing through the translucent tubes. To keep the primary world stable, a sacrifice must be made to hold the code together. I was the agent sent to fix this train 30 years ago. I found the old anchor, I neutralized it. And do you know what happened? The system trapped me here to take its place. I became the new battery powering this nightmare. And tonight, Vance sent you here to replace me. If you shoot me with that paradox drive, my timeline collapses. I finally get to die, but the drive will instantly bond your signature to the train's core. You will sit in this chair. You will plug these cables into your flesh. You will wait here in the dark, floating through the void for 30 years, until Vance harvests another version of us from another car crash and sends him down that platform to shoot you. It's a closed circle, an infinite loop of us sacrificing ourselves to save a world that doesn't even know we exist. Suddenly, a violent crash shakes the cabin. The reinforced steel door behind you bulges inward. A deep, jagged dent appears in the metal, followed by that horrifying, metallic screeching sound from the hallway. The glitched passengers have caught up. They are throwing their bodies against the door, their distorted, snapping limbs tearing through the iron. The glass windows of the cabin begin to spiderweb with cracks, the gray mist of the void outside whistling through the fractures. Time is running out. The compression zone is flattening. My older self looks at the bulging door, then looks back at you, his eyes wide with a mixture of pity and urgency. Hear that? The system defenses are closing the loop. They want you to make a choice. You have 2 options, kid. It's the same 2 options I had, and the version before me had. Option 1. You shoot me. You reset the loop, you save the primary timeline for another 30 years, and you take your place in the chair. Option 2. You don't shoot me. You let the passengers break through that door, you let them tear us apart, and this entire sector collapses into nothingness. We both get erased from existence completely. No afterlife. No memories. Just total, blissful silence. Freedom from the agency. Freedom from Vance. He closes his eyes, leaning his head back against the chair, exposing the main junction box where the cables meet his spine. Choose, kid. I'm tired of running this train. Let me sleep, or take the wheel. You look down at the glass pistol in your hand. The white light inside the core is flashing furiously now, blindingly bright, screaming for a target. You look at the door as it begins to rip off its hinges, revealing the pitch-black, hollow eyes of the passengers reaching through the gap. You look at your older self, waiting for the sweet release of death. But then, you stop. You think about Vance pouring coffee in that windowless room, calmly telling you that you died in a car crash. You think about the synthetic clone living your life right now. And a cold, dark anger takes over your fear. Why play their game at all? Why choose between their options? You drop your gaze to the main control panel beneath the monitors. You see the heavy, pulsing central matrix where all the cables from the train, the passengers, and the anchor meet. The golden quantum core that tethers this entire nightmare directly back to the agency's main servers. Your older self opens his eyes, noticing where you are aiming the weapon. His jaw drops. His eyes widen in pure shock. Wait, what are you doing? No version has ever looked at the console, the feedback loop well. You don't let him finish. You turn the solid glass pistol away from his head. You step forward, ignoring the screaming passengers breaking through the door, and you press the barrel of the gun directly against the central quantum matrix of the console. You close your eyes, put your entire soul into the weapon, and force the paradox drive to unleash everything it has. An explosion of pure, unmitigated white light erupts from the console. It doesn't sound like gunfire. It sounds like 1,000 glass skyscrapers shattering at the exact same time. The world instantly loses all sound. You feel your body being torn apart molecule by molecule, your memories bleeding out into the open air. You see the train dissolve into thin air. You see the passengers turn into beautiful, harmless butterflies of green light and drift away into the void. You see your older self smiling, his face dissolving into peace as the cables detach and vanish. The entire universe is turning inside out, the code is crashing, the system is forcing a hard reboot, and you are falling upward into the light. Breathe. Force the air back into your lungs. A harsh, cold fluorescent light flickers on above you. You blink rapidly, trying to clear the thick, suffocating blur from your vision. Your head feels like it's splitting open, and the heavy smell of ozone fills the room. You are sitting in a metallic, windowless room. You look down at your ankles. They are magnetically locked to a cold steel chair. Across the table, a man is standing, his back to you, pouring steaming hot coffee from a thermos into a ceramic mug. Your heart hammers against your ribs. Your breath hitches. It didn't work. The reboot failed. You're back at the beginning. Vance is about to turn around and tell you that you died in a car crash. The man sets the thermos down with a soft, deliberate clink. He smooths out the wrinkles of his sharp, charcoal-dyed suit jacket. He slowly turns around to face you. Your voice catches in your throat. The breath leaves your body. The man in the suit isn't Director Vance. It's you. You look down at your own hands resting on the table. They are covered in deep, old scars. You look at your left wrist. The barcode is gone, replaced by a sleek, expensive director's watch. You look across the table at the terrified, trembling young agent blinking awake in the chair. You look at his left wrist, where a faint, silver barcode is pulsing under his skin. You realize with a chilling horror what the reboot did. You didn't break the system. You just climbed the ladder. You aren't the anchor anymore. You are the handler. You pick up the warm mug of coffee, take a slow, calm sip, and lean forward, looking directly into the eyes of your younger self. You open your mouth, your voice sounding cold, professional, and entirely dead inside. Look at your left wrist. No, not your watch. Look closely at the skin right below your pulse.